Are you tired of holding back, playing small, feeling invisible, or being taken for granted? Do you ever feel like you're not showing up as the version of yourself you know you're capable of being? For instance, during a meeting, you have a great idea, but you hesitate and you remain silent. And even when you finally speak up, you spend the next 2 hours second-guessing yourself, wondering if you came across as awkward or off. Maybe it's at home with a friend or a partner where you feel overlooked. For instance, you share something important, and instead of them listening, they brush it off or even talk over you. And afterwards, you find yourself wondering, why do I let this happen to me? Why can't I just stand up for myself? If any of that sounds familiar, keep watching. Today, I'm sharing 5 powerful confidence hacks that are grounded in essential human skills that would definitely change the way you carry yourself and how others see you. These hacks are simple and quick to implement, but they're highly impactful. And yes, hack number 3 will surprise you because it's something that most people overlook, but it works instantly. If you're new here, hi, I'm Elizabeth, a leading humanitarian, former United Nations Senior Advisor, and the author of the book, Human Skills, The Power to Connect, your human manual for navigating all human interactions. Before we can fix our confidence issues, we need to understand why they happen in the first place, and more importantly, what kind of signals they are sending to our brain when we constantly doubt ourselves. Let's start with something really basic. Your brain's number 1 job is to keep you safe. Not successful, not popular, just safe. So when you hesitate to speak up, when you tell yourself, don't mess this thing up, or they think I'm stupid, or when you downplay your own needs because you don't want to seem difficult, what you are actually doing is training your brain to treat visibility as a threat. Here's how that shows up in real life. You're in a team meeting. You've got a solid idea, but you think, what if they don't like it? So you stay silent. Your heart is racing, your palms are sweaty, and your brain goes, okay, yep, public speaking is dangerous. Let's just avoid this one next time. Or you're with your partner and they make a joke at your expense. Again, by the way, you want to say something, but instead you smile and you swallow it down. And your brain goes, good call, don't rock the boat, keep quiet, stay safe. Even small things, by the way, such as apologizing for everything or laughing when you're uncomfortable, teaches your body to play small. It starts to become second nature. And over time, this creates a pattern, a loop, if you will, that goes as follows. We hold back, we feel unseen, we doubt ourselves, we hold back even more. And our brain thinks it's protecting us. But what's actually doing is just keeping us stuck. The real problem isn't that we lack confidence. It's that we've accidentally trained ourselves to expect rejection, to avoid risk, and to mistrust our own voice. But here's the beautiful thing about the brain. It's adaptable. When you start to send new signals of safety, of strength, and connection, your brain starts to respond differently. And that's where these confidence hacks come in. They are not about faking it or pretending to be someone you're not. They are about retraining your body and your brain to believe, I'm safe, I belong, I've got this. Let's start with hack 1. And I promise this one is so simple you can use it starting today. Hack 1, shift your posture. Yes, I'm serious. Just shift your posture. Just changing the way you sit or stand can completely shift the way you feel and show up. Think about this. Have you ever noticed how you physically shrink when you're not feeling confident? Your shoulders hunch forward, you cross your arms or fold into yourself, you avoid eye contact. Maybe your voice gets smaller too. That's not just body language. It's your nervous system trying to protect you. But the problem is that posture sends a powerful message to your brain that says, I'm not safe, I don't belong, let's stay small. And the brain listens. In fact, just take a moment and check in with yourself right now. How are you sitting or standing as you watch this video? Are your shoulders hunched forward? Is your back slouched and your head down? Or are you sitting up straight or standing upright? Because here's the signs in simple terms. Your body and your brain are in constant conversation. This is what's called embodied cognition. The way your physical state actually influences your thoughts and your emotions. So when you sit up tall and you roll your shoulders back and plant your feet firmly on the ground and open up your chest, you're sending a totally different signal. One that says, I'm grounded, I am present, and I'm allowed to be here. And the brain responds. You breathe deeper, your voice steadies, your thoughts clear, you stop fidgeting, and you start occupying space physically and mentally. Let me give you a real life example. Say you're about to walk into a job interview or sit down for a difficult conversation with your spouse. You feel those nerves kicking in, the self-doubt, the racing heart. Before you go in, just take 30 seconds, stand up straight, roll your shoulders back, let your arms hang naturally and breathe. Even that tiny shift tells your nervous system, we're good, we've got this. And guess what? The person on the other side, whether it's your boss, your partner, or your kid, will pick up on that energy too. Because posture isn't just about how you feel. It's a huge part of how others perceive your presence and authority. In my book, Human Skills, The Power to Connect, I talk a lot about nonverbal communication, the message we send without saying a word. And posture is a big one. When you carry yourself with a quiet strength, people are more likely to listen, respect you, and take you seriously. So here's your challenge. Next time you're in a situation where confidence matters, even something as small as walking into a room, pause and adjust your posture. Give yourself 30 seconds. No one ever has to know what you're doing, but you will feel the shift. And over time, your brain will start to associate the posture with safety, presence, and power. Simple, yes, but the impact is massive. Hack 2. Share one truth. Let me explain. Say you're in a social setting. Maybe you're in a networking event, at a party, or even just a team lunch. And suddenly you feel it. That self-consciousness creeping in. The overthinking. What should I say? Do I sound smart enough? Here's your way out of that spiral. Share one truth. Something along the lines of, I always feel a little awkward at events like this. Or I wasn't sure if I should jump in, but I figured I'll give it a try. Or honestly, I don't know much about this topic, but I'd love to learn. Sounds counterintuitive, right? It feels like you're admitting a weakness. But actually, what you're doing is something real, something bigger. And that realness is magnetic. We often mistake vulnerability for weakness, when in reality, it's one of the most powerful forms of authentic strength. Here's the thing. When you share something honest, even something small, your brain relaxes. You're no longer trying to manage a fake version of yourself. There's no mask to hold up, no act to maintain, and your nervous system gets the message. We're safe. We're okay. This is real. And here's the wild part. People respond to it because we're all tired of small talk and surface level performance. So when you say something honest, you give others permission to drop their guard too. Let me give you a real life example. You're standing in a circle at a work mixer. Everyone is throwing around these industry buzzwords. You feel totally out of your depth. Instead of trying to fake it, you smile and say something like, this is one of those moments where I nod along and Google everything later. And just like that, people laugh, they soften, and suddenly you're real to them. You stop performing and start connecting. And confidence flows naturally when connection is present. Because now you're not trying to prove anything, you're just being yourself. So next time you feel that pressure to say the perfect thing, don't. Just say the one true thing. One honest sentence can shift the entire energy of a conversation and how you feel inside it. Now, this next hack is the one that surprises people the most. And trust me, once you try it, you'll never unhear it again. Hack 3. Name your inner critic and talk back. Yes, give that judgmental voice in your head an actual name. We all have that inner narrator. You know, the one that pops up right before we do something important. The one that says, you're not ready, they won't take you seriously, Who do you think you are? Here's the truth. That voice is not the real you. It's just an outdated part of your brain trying to keep you small and safe. It's like an overprotective parent who thinks shrinking equal to surviving. That voice is just your inner critic, a protective but limiting voice rooted in fear, past experiences, and unconscious beliefs. And unless you shine a light on it, it runs the show. So here's the hack. Step 1, name that voice, literally. Give it a silly or exaggerated name that helps you create space from it. Something like Anxious Alex, Doubting Debbie, Small Time Elizabeth. You want the name to feel just playful enough that you remember it, that this voice isn't me, it's just a part of me. This is core human skill stuff. Confidence doesn't mean you don't have doubts. It means you know how to manage them without letting them control your life. Hack 4, ask the power question. What would I do if I trusted myself? This hack is deceptively simple, but it might be the most powerful mindset shift on the list. Here's why this works so well. When you're feeling insecure or unsure, we tend to spiral into overthinking. We replay scenarios, imagine worst-case outcomes, try to read everyone else's mind, and end up frozen, stuck between what we want to do and what we're afraid might happen. But here's the truth. That stuck place isn't because you don't know what to do. It's because you're filtering your decisions through fear instead of trust. So here's a reframe. Next time you're hesitating, overthinking, or playing small, pause and ask yourself, what would I do if I already trusted myself? Not when you trust yourself, not after you've built more confidence, but right now, as if the trust is already there. What would you do if you already trusted yourself? Let me give you a real life example. You're about to walk into a room where you feel like you don't quite belong. Maybe it's a big meeting, a social event, or even a tough conversation. Instead of shrinking or pretending, you ask yourself, what would I do if I trusted myself? Maybe you'd stand taller. Maybe you would make eye contact. Maybe you would just be yourself instead of performing. Here's another example. You're in a relationship or a friendship where you're feeling taken for granted. You are tempted to stay quiet. But then you ask, what would I do if I trusted myself? And the answer might be, I would speak up. I would set a boundary. I would say the hard thing with love, not apology. That one question cuts through all the noise because it brings you back to your values, your clarity, and your core self. It reconnects you with the part of you that already knows what you need and is just waiting for permission to act on it. This is what's called inner alignment, and it's one of the most foundational human skills there is. Because confidence isn't about having all the answers. It's about being able to act in alignment with yourself, even when things feel uncertain. So next time you feel stuck, try it. Say it in your mind, even out loud. What would I do if I trusted myself? And then go do the thing anyway. Now, finally, I want to leave you with this final hack, and honestly, it might be the most practical way to build real confidence over time. Hack 5, make a micro decision and commit to it. Here's what I mean. Confidence doesn't just come from mindset shifts or great posture. It comes from taking action, even tiny ones. Because every time you make a small decision and follow through, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Remember that your brain is constantly tracking your behavior. So when you hesitate, avoid, or second-guess yourself all the time, your brain starts to believe we don't trust ourselves to act. But when you take even the smallest action, your brain registers that as a win. It says, oh, we're the kind of person who does what they say they would do. We can handle things. And that creates momentum. Let me give you a real life example. You are putting off sending off an email because you're afraid it won't land perfectly. You decide, I'm sending it in the next 10 minutes. You write it, you hit send, done. That's a micro win. Or you're in a meeting And there's a moment where you want to speak, but your instinct is to stay silent. But you choose, I'm going to say one sentence. You say it, that's another micro win. Or maybe you're used to always saying yes when you want to say no, whether it's helping out, going out to something you don't want to attend, or taking on extra work. This time, you pause and you say, actually, I can't do this time. That's not just a boundary, by the way. That's self-respect in action, and yet another micro win. It's through these micro wins that you teach your brain that you take yourself seriously. It's how you start to feel more in control, not because everything is great, but because you're choosing your next step with intention. This is the kind of self-confidence that builds over time from the inside out, not the kind that needs external validation or applause, but the kind that says, I know who I am. I trust myself. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be present and committed. So here's your challenge. Pick one micro decision and act on it today. Send the message. Speak the truth. Say the no. Ask the question. It doesn't have to be big. The important thing is that you are taking action, because confidence doesn't come from thinking about who you wish you were. It comes from doing something, however small, as the person you already are. So there you have it. 5 powerful confidence hacks that actually work. They're simple, they're grounded in human connection, and they help you show up as your real confident self, not a louder or more polished version of you, but you, fully present and fully in your power. But here's the thing. Confidence isn't a one-size-fits-all. Some of these hacks might really resonate with you, and others might not be your thing, and that's okay. Because building confidence is personal. It's about learning what works for you and practicing it with compassion. So I'd love to hear from you. Which of these hacks are you excited to try? Or even better, do you have your own go-to confident tip that's worked for you in your own life? Drop it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if confidence is something you're working on, whether in your relationships, your career, or just in your everyday life, what other videos would you like to see on this topic? Let me know. I would love to create more content that really supports you where you are right now. And if you found this useful, feel free to like, subscribe, or share it with someone else who might need a little bit of a confidence boost today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.